This episode contains material of a sensitive nature, including mental health struggles, suicide, addiction, abuse and violence that may be triggering for some individuals. Welcome to Green Sunrise Podcast. Today, I'm only going to be speaking to Lisa MacLean. Lisa.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright.
You alright? Yes. Yes, we had a wee issue today, didn't we? But we're going to get by that.
We're winging it.
We're just going to wing it.
We're winging it.
So today we're going to talk about
anything and everything.
anything and everything. Yeah, let's just smash it out. Let's see where we can go with that. Right, so let's first up. Actually, how's your mental health? Yeah, am I allowed to ask you that?
Aye, it's been a wee bit since the last podcast. It's been a bit more positive, bit more settled.
Right.
Still have my ups and downs like everybody does, but definitely a lot more settled since the last time.
Yep.
So,
yeah. I think so. What I think when we're talking about mental health, if you talk about your mental health, it's the first way of dealing with it. It's the first way of... It
is. That's my downfall though. When things are going on, I go quiet and I push everybody away.
Right.
I'm the worst for it. I'll not speak. I done it last week before.
Right.
Didn't speak to anybody. This week I'm feeling a wee bit better, so I start speaking again, and
good. That's
just how I cope with it. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but
I think with guys, when we're speaking about guys, there's been a few people that have obviously contacted me through either social media or like the other night I was with a DJ. So that, just to let you know, Beyond Entertainments is sponsoring this podcast today, and just the reason I'm mentioning Beyond Entertainment is because he lets me do the first hour at weddings, right? So I'll do the first kind of hour, and like I say, when it's funny when I'm doing it because there's certain songs I can play, certain songs that I can't play, and so I was doing a kind of mix, if you call it a mix, and a guy actually, I won't mention his name, but he approached me and he said, "Do you remember speaking to me in Dow's?" Right, so do you know what Dow's is?
No.
So Dow's is it's a pub next to Queen Street, straight across from Queen Street.
Right, okay.
So you usually get in Dow's, you usually get the stragglers that do karaoke, and they do the karaoke quite bad. I'm one of the stragglers that do the karaoke quite bad. But anyway, I'd met this guy 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago in Dow's. So I was trying to figure it out where I'd met him. So I was like to him, I says, "Oh Barry, how you doing? Your name's Paul, isn't it?" And I was like, "Paul Quinn." And I was like that. "Aye, how did you know me?" And then I started to like realise his face. And I was like, that's right. So I was talking to you about mental health. And he says, "Aye, it helped me a lot talking to you about my mental health." Then we started speaking about the reason for poor mental health, if you like. And poor mental health, as you know, could relate from either drink or drugs or the combination of both. And I think when we spoke about it, he said it was just great to be able to talk to me about that, even though I don't know if he'd been watching the podcast or watching the stuff, because obviously 2 years ago I was doing the podcast, but it wasn't in this setting, I don't think. So it just goes to show that when you do talk about it, people remember it, and it's like...
even some of the clips that we did last time, there's quite a few comments on it, just saying how much it helped. If it even helps that one person, then that's what it's all about, isn't it? Definitely.
See the boys, so we're talking about the boys for St Roch's. Obviously you done a wee bit of the charity work, you done the modelling for the charity for the St Roch's centenary game. Some of the boys that you're speaking to, can you mention any of the stories that they're going to come on? They want to come on and tell their stories, stuff like that.
Ben Daly was going to come on.
So Ben,
he's got a video on YouTube through the St Roch's channel.
Right.
He talks about men's mental health, male suicide, that kind of thing. But I think I had this conversation with somebody the other day actually about men's mental health in football specifically, because do you know who it was? It was actually Mikey Johnson we were talking about.
Right.
And obviously there's a big controversy that he's doing really well now, and
that's right. Is it
because of the
West
pressure
Brom, right,
and whatever else? The things that people say about people like Mikey Johnson doesn't have to be specific to him.
Yeah.
They see it.
Yep.
So is that why he wasn't performing well up here?
Right.
Do you know,
it's too much.
You go on Twitter and you see every single person slate you. Mm-hmm. Every single person say your X, Y and Z, and see whether he is or isn't. That's beside the point.
Yep.
But if you go on and you see all that, how does that actually affect you? Did that affect his game? Maybe it was nothing to do with it. Maybe he is rubbish. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But you've got to look at it like...
Yeah, I think when you're in that cauldron, right, because there's a lot of hatred towards the players.
Aye.
And obviously it's I don't think it's justified. Nobody can say it's justified to have hatred to somebody that you don't know.
We can all get angry after a game and say, he was shite, what was he doing?
Aye.
I've done it myself, I'd be a hypocrite if I said I haven't, but the amount of hate that one person was getting, how does that affect your game? And footballers aren't they supposed to be affected by this kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? It's their fair game, aren't they, because they're in the public eye?
Yep.
Are they really though in this day and age? Mm-hmm. Do you know, it's...
Me and you spoke about self-harm, right? And the fact that there's different types of self-harm, right? And now I'm not saying like fans shouting at players and the players staying in that environment is like self-harm.
Yeah.
But we do say that self-harm, one way of talking about self-harm is like when you talk about yourself in a negative manner, and that's also included as self-harm. How do you think, like, maybe talking about self-harm more within the game, do you think that would be a thing that could be that maybe the
It possibly could. I think talking about self-harm in general would be good for everybody. Before you and I discussed it and spoke about it, I was probably one of the people that kind of stereotyped it, if you like.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's you've got to be cutting yourself or doing along those kind of lines. And then the more we read into it, some of the stuff you sent me and going through it, I think every single person at some point in their life has definitely can say that they have self-harmed. Yeah. And it helped me a lot. Because as soon as I read through it, I just thought that has been me for the last year and a half.
Yep.
It's just, so I think talking about it in general would be good for everybody.
Yeah.
But footballers possibly could benefit from it as well.
Yeah.
I think they're just seen as men, aren't they? And they're not supposed to have these feelings, and it's not supposed to bother them. And I even seen somebody on Twitter the other day, they'd put up this thing about their sick healing about men's mental health. I'm like, what chance have you actually got? Do you know, we're trying to encourage people to speak about it. Yeah. Why can men not feel that way? Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what the male suicide rate is, but it's pretty high. Yeah, no. I like I say, I always gone about it, but I think, well, the last stat there was 75%, and I think it's not changed. I think somebody said maybe 73% of all suicide is male. Again, it could be higher than that, it could be lower than that. I don't really, like I always talk about it, the stat's always there, and I would never say it doesn't matter. The stat doesn't matter. What I think matters is any more than 1% is enough to talk about it. You know what I mean? Also, and that maybe changing a wee bit of what we're talking about, the self-harm, and it is totally changing it. But we were doing the walk, the three peaks in 2 days. Yep. Now, is that still going on? Is that still a thing? Yeah, it's in July. In the diary. Are you doing a kilt walk? No, not can't do that one, but we're doing the 3 peaks challenge. Right. I'm laughing because I can't walk the length myself. Like, no idea how I'm going to manage this. Yes. But wee Wido's promised me a cookie back, so I'll be fine. But I know that's still going ahead. Right, good. There's a QR code that can be scanned. Right, good. Posters and different things. There's still the GoFundMe link that people can go on to and donate to it. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be good. It will be good, and I don't think I'll be able to make it. I've actually I signed up for it, and I'm not able to make it for that date for other reasons. But I'm doing the charity work as well. Yep. So, but the QR code. So what we'll do is we can get that. We can get that up. Aye, absolutely. We can get the QR code put up. Yep. I'll get Big Paul to put that up. And also, I'm running a football card, so we're doing. Yep. So I'm going to do as many football cards. I think a few of the guys. I need to mention Big Turbo, who's one of the guys. Oh, he's brilliant. We need to mention Turbo. Aye, absolutely. What about other boys? Have you met any other boys? Have you had a chance to speak to them? See, to be honest, we've got a group chat and I speak to them most days, and I actually look forward to their chat. They're the biggest bunch of roasters you've ever met in your life.
Yes, they are the biggest bunch.
They really are.
And I'm looking on. I've only ever met Turbo, obviously Wee Wido, and who's the hill climber, the guy that we trust. Who's that? Who's his name again?
The hill climber.
The hill climber. Him that knows all the hills, all the Monroes.
The PT.
The PT.
Specs.
Specs. Is that
God,
Specs?
Aye.
Specs.
Aye, that's our Specs.
Oh, is that Specs? Who's the other guy then?
There's another guy that does hill walking as well.
I've not met Specs. Special mention to Specs.
Oh, you need to meet Specs.
Yes, and I've not met Specs yet.
He's the biggest roaster in the group.
Yes.
He's our roaster.
Yes.
So, don't want to say it too nice about him.
No, we'll try not. But no, we'll need to mention Specs, obviously. But no, it's a good bunch. But so how many is there? Is there still? There was.
I think it's down to about 8 or 9.
8 or 9, right?
8 or 9. Eddie had a fundraiser just at the weekend there.
Right.
So that went ahead. We had a race night, so we raised money there.
Excellent.
And I just trying to prepare for the hill walk.
Yes, of course.
It's a great wee group chat, and everybody picks each other up, and they're really good guys. Actually, they really are.
You'll be fine. The boys are really good, and like I said, I've done one of the Monroes with them.
Aye.
And it almost ended me, but no, it was actually okay. I suppose the advice for doing any kind of hill walking or peak challenges or anything like that is just keep moving. Doesn't matter how fast just keep moving forward. Don't stop, because when you stop, that's when it gets.
I dare say I'll have a few tantrums, but
yes, yes, of course.
I'm sure one of them will have a bob with me.
Wee Wido would be that. He'll sort it out. So
I bet he will.
And it's a massive thing that Wee Wido's doing. Yet again, we have mentioned this in the past episodes, and also obviously Jamie Tierney.
Yep.
His dad. I've spoke to his dad as well. So I've started to meet the family. I've started to meet Jamie as well. But I've obviously. We need to give a special mention to wee Jamie. Absolutely. And obviously that charity, and obviously the fundraising that's been done at the moment. And also, if you want a shot of a football card, they will be on the Green Sunrise podcast. We are doing that as well. So if you would like a shot of the football card, you want a team, you want to pick a team, we will be doing many football cards up to. I mean, this isn't just like till the end of the year. This is just something that we're going to keep doing.
Ongoing.
It's going to keep on doing.
Aye, they need the funding.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable. So.
And a special mention also to Brian Mitchell, because he's also got his fund. I think he's raised a couple of £100 for that as well, and it's building up slowly in the background, so it's really good. And what we'll do is we'll keep these links at the bottom of this episode. So if you'd like to help out with wee Jamie's journey as well, please let us know at Green Sunrise Podcast, and we can definitely get you hooked up, and let's talk about that as well. What next? What we're going to talk about next? Would you feel like talking about mental health wise? And if I've not got anything to talk about, it doesn't matter. Let's just talk about what we're going to do. We've got a few trigger warnings to do at the end of the show, and we'll get them sorted. Aye.
What about kind of online abuse?
Aye. Let's look at that then. Online abuse. So in which sense? Are you talking about just Twitter? Talking any kind of online abuse?
Twitter's the worst place for it, to be honest. Twitter is an absolute cesspit at times. It can be vile.
I believe it's a place you go for a shit.
Oh, it's...
it
really is. It can be... I've had it quite a few times on there, and you try and rise above it. Some of it just goes over your head. It's absolutely fine. See the banter back and forth. That's what I'm there for. I'm not there for the actual hatred of people, but sometimes it can be... Other people have had it worse than me. I've seen it. I've seen other people be kind of targeted, but it does bother you. But because you can't see it, it's wee random trolls sitting on whatever they're doing, just spouting abuse at people, and it's difficult to... Some of the things they say as well, do you know, it cuts deep actually.
It does cut deep.
It's where it gets personal.
Yes.
It's the personal comments, and you get quite obsessive, you know, like, you don't look at it, but you're sitting with your phone refreshing it, come back through it, and
so it's I mean, I think you do put yourself through mental torture when you actually look at the words on your phone. You take it personally, which I'm trying to talk to everybody about. It's just like, it's easier said than done. It's always going to be like that.
It is, and that's what I would tell other people as well. You know, don't take it personally. It's only Twitter, but
Yeah.
when it's me, I obsess over it.
Yeah.
I'll pick up my phone and I'll keep looking and
Yeah.
I'll keep looking and I'll refresh and I'll just, what are they saying about me now? What are they saying about me now?
Yeah.
And the banter's fine. That's absolutely fine. That's what everybody's there for,
Yeah.
a laugh and a joke, and I can take all that.
Yeah.
It's the personal comments. It's like, why?
Well, actually, what we could talk about is this new hate crime.
Right. Yep, that's been brought in.
Actually,
how many times have they been tagged since it came in?
So, see when that came out, I'm still trying to work it out. I'm still trying to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
How they manage it, how they're going to mandate it, who is it that's going to be there.
Honestly, I don't know. And then also, Yadali McCoist came out and said that him, along with, is it 48,000 they hold?
Yeah.
They'll be breaking the law. They'll be doing it. Now he's backtracked and said he's not going to be there.
Aye.
And I wasn't offended by what he said. I don't really think it's that big a deal what he said, to be honest.
I've seen the clips that obviously Alan McCoist. And I don't mind Alan McCoist. I don't think any Celtic fan does mind. I don't think we really do. And I think he's just one of those lovable characters. But he was, you see him singing a song, but they're trying to tag him to like, all right, he was singing the Billy Boys or something like that, right? But
we've all done it. We all do it.
But the Rangers had just won the league at that point.
Aye.
I've got obviously it's going to be more than 20, 30 years ago, but. And I say that obviously. It's got to be more than 30
years.
There, so again, and they were wearing Adidas at that point. So, do you know what I mean? It was the one of the things. But anyway, I was just saying they were trying to tag him as in he's if he's some sort of hypocrite, and he's not really. It's just the way
I don't mind what he said. It didn't.
No, I don't think nobody.
He'd be joining in singing. If it was at Celtic Park, would you not be joining in singing?
No, I know that.
Would be.
Aye, definitely. We've all been there.
You're a liar if you say that you wouldn't be.
We've all been there.
But as such a big deal's been made out of him saying it, it maybe wasn't the best move to say it publicly, just in his position.
Yep.
But was it really that bad? What he
No,
said?
I don't think it was that bad.
I don't think it was either. But he's backtracked now, and he said that a last minute trip has come up, and he'll not be there. And people are trying to say that he was going to break the law. I was like, you said it. It was you that said it.
Oh my goodness!
But it's been blown out of
can I ask you? See, when it first came out, what did you think? What was your first initial reaction? Because I still don't get it. So
I don't get it. What does it include? What are you allowed to do anything now?
So if it's the hate bill. I'm going to ask Big Paul. Paul, what's that? Can you get in about it? What do you think, big man?
I don't know. Genuinely, don't know how they're going to manage it. Don't know. It's to include things like, so race was already a protected class of people that you could put hate onto. So they've already got an existing law, and they're wanting to include other protected, including the big one, which is gender.
Right.
That was already included as well, though, because they've got the 9 protected characteristics. So
I don't think gender was in it.
Was it not?
Previously.
Oh, was it no?
No.
Right. Okay.
So is it more so the LGBT plus community? Is it that more so?
Why not just make it a protected characteristic then? Why bring it? Because is there not something about even if it's within your own home, you can still be reported for? I don't really understand it, but it just seems a lot. And surely there's a better way police time could be used.
Yes.
Than, I mean, was Hamza Yusuf? There's not been like 4,000 complaints already made about a speech he made.
Yep. Oh, is that right? Is that? Oh, there was always going to be
a speech because it was very much. I think they were saying it was anti-white people.
Right.
I've not listened to it fully, but they were saying it was anti-white people. So I think there was like 4,000 complaints already made about that speech, and I think the speech was it wasn't a recent speech.
This was obviously from the past.
Aye. How are they going to filter through all these complaints? Like,
I know.
Surely there is serious things happening right now that would be a better use of police time.
Yep.
I don't really understand what it includes and doesn't include, but how are they going to police that at football games?
I don't think they can. I honestly don't think they could police that at football games. I mean, could you imagine it? It's like it. You would need
that on Sunday, and then us the next.
Do you know what I mean? You would need an army of guys to go in and whip them out, and it's never going to happen.
It's never going to work.
But I wouldn't disagree. I don't know if disagree is the correct word. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
I think that it needs to be clear.
Maybe it's just making people aware of what they're actually saying or what they're actually doing to somebody, another person. So again, and we're no singling out Celtic fans or Rangers fans.
No.
I think I just think that there's been things that have passed, and so for example, when Ali McCoist was singing those songs 30 years ago after they've won a league, right? I don't think that's new. I think it's more and more not. It's weaning its way out of football. Like the bigotry stuff, the sectarianism. I think it's slowly but surely dying off. But then again, I don't go to the games, so maybe I'm wrong. I just think maybe people are becoming aware and they're maybe not doing it as much. Or is it just because I don't go to the games anymore and I don't see it? I
don't know. I think there's a large part of people at the games don't take part in any of it. They don't like it. They're very against it, and they just want to go to the game, watch the football, and leave.
Yeah.
But then you've also got the other half of the stadium who still take part, still do it, still sing it, and I'll include myself in that. I'm not going to be hypocrite.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been anywhere though that I haven't heard bigotry or sectarianism. I think even when we went to Motherwell away, I was actually quite disgusted at some of the things they were singing.
Right.
It was bad. I didn't expect it there.
Right.
Do you know, you expect it, do you know, if you go to Ibrox, if you go to Celtic Park, places like that, you expect it.
But it's kind of, it's almost like you're trying to score points at the
both
others.
Sides. Both sides. Any of it. But when we went there, it was pretty bad. By their ultras, so it wasn't the full stadium again, and you couldn't blame. You know, it wasn't all of their fans, but some of the stuff their ultras were singing. I was shocked because I didn't expect it for them.
Yep.
I dare say it was given back.
I
dare say it was given back.
Of course it would be.
But I think it's still there, very much there. But I think sometimes half them don't know what it is they're actually saying either. Do you know that they're joining in because they're just singing the songs, especially some of the really young ones. You see them and you think you don't actually know what that is that you're shouting about.
Of course, and that's it. It's just obviously it's just silly for when we do that. Let's talk about this. Well, actually, this will be the first. This is going to be the first episode of 2024.
So it is.
Right. So this is the first episode of 2024. So the reason it's the first episode of 2024, and we're now in April shivers, we're now in April.
Oh, so we are.
We're now in April.
I don't even know what day it is.
So this year's just flying in. But the reason for this being the first one is because I've been doing research and I've been going to clue myself up when it comes to mental health and the things that we've been talking about. For example, I've done the assist training, which was a 2-day workshop. And like I say, if you ever get the opportunity to do the assist training, take it. It's absolutely amazing. It's applied skills and suicide intervention. Maybe they'll be about, but and I thought that when I'd done that, I said the 2-day workshop, it opened up like so many different avenues for example, I didn't realise how many organisations there is out there who can help people who maybe feel suicidal, right? But it wasn't just suicidal, it was like, obviously there was so many other bits of poor mental health, if you like, depression and anxiety. So there was lots of things that I've been looking at and we're teaming up with this year, and I'm looking forward to this as a podcast going forward, and we're trying to make sure that we are actually connecting people up with the services that I've just found. Other people may know many more services. So I suppose my question to you would be, do you know of any services out there that help people when it comes to maybe suicide or poor mental health, depression, anxiety? Is there anything out there that you know of?
I don't actually know that many, to be honest. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, and I suppose that's not...
Okay, so
that's not a great thing that people don't know.
So what we can do is we can look. Actually, that's what we can do. I've got them on my phone. So why don't we take a wee break at the moment? Take a break, go for a toilet, get a juice or a water, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the services that are out there that people can help people. Do you want to do that?
Yep. Perfect.
Call that half time. Welcome back to the second half of this episode, the Green Sunrise Podcast, where it's just me and Lisa MacLean sitting right across from me. We're going to look at some services that you may not have heard of or you may not know, and services that we've personally either been involved with or we've been speaking to, and we're just going to give you a wee bit of what we know of them, and also give a few people some G's up. G's up. I don't know if that's a thing. Give some people some G's up.
Down with the kids.
Give them G's up. It's probably, I don't know if that's a hate thing. G's up.
I don't know.
It's a hate crime. First of all, let's talk about Women's Aid.
Women's Aid, aye.
Right. What's your experience with that, or would you know from the girls that...
I stayed in Women's Aid for a while when I was young.
Right.
I think I was pretty young. With my mum, I'm not sure if my brother and sister were born at this point, but we definitely stayed in there because of domestic violence. They helped quite a bit, gave us somewhere to stay, did everything. Obviously, I was young, so I don't remember all the ins and outs, but I just remember, do you know those old phone boxes you used to get that were on the wall that you used to have to put money in and lift it up?
Aye.
So I can specifically remember this phone box on the wall, and there was like a group of, do you remember Opal Fruits?
Yeah.
So there was a group of lassies in
Starbursts,
there.
wasn't it?
Aye, but there were Opal Fruits then.
Was it Opal Fruits first?
Yes.
Aye, then it was Starbursts. That's
so
right.
because I was dead young, there was a group of other lassies in there. Obviously they were in with their mums for different reasons, and they used to make me eat them with the paper on.
Right.
So
what?
I get picked on these lassies, and that's what they did to me. They used to make me eat Opal Fruits with paper on.
Oh my goodness.
And I can remember that specifically. I didn't do me any harm, but
no, of course.
That's what I remember. The phone box on the wall and eating Opal Fruits with the paper on.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
But they're a great service. They help women that need any kind of help with domestic violence, and domestic violence does not just need to be physical either.
It's not just physical.
It's not just physical. Mental abuse, actually, sometimes, I'm not saying it's worse, but it's harder to believe and understand because you can't see it.
Yeah.
So it's,
and that would be another reason for when people go into a dark space.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't want to talk to anybody about it.
With things like that as well, you're terrified to speak.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen to you if you do speak out? What are they going to do to you? What if nobody believes you? Then what's going to happen to you? Yeah. So it can be a really dark and scary place dealing with things like that, but places like Women's Aid, they are good. They really are. The thing is, they've seen it all before.
Yes.
That is the thing. I don't think there'll be much that you can say to them will shock them or surprise you, or they're brilliant.
Well, here's a thing about, just as we're speaking about that, I was talking to, I don't know if it was yourself or somebody else, about there's certain things that women do that can. So, for example, there was somebody that told me that one of the pieces of advice was to leave big set of boots outside the door. I
have seen that, just so that if you are staying at home on your own, leave like a pair of boots or bigger shoes, so that they think somebody else is in the house with you. Yeah, these
were wee quips and wee things that.
Do you know where's really good for that? Actually, TikTok.
Right. Okay.
As much daft stuff as there is on there, there's actually good stuff as well. So.
Oh no, there's lots of good stuff on TikTok.
And there's actually guys have recorded. So I don't know if you've seen it. There's guys have recorded TikToks, and it says at the start on it, if you're ever like in a taxi on your own and you feel scared or you feel like, I think there's something going on here.
Right. Okay.
Start playing it, and it sounds as if you're on the phone to somebody, and they pause so that you can then say your bit. Oh, where are you? Oh, I'm just blah blah blah. And he's like, all right, okay, so you're like 5-10 minutes away. Then I'll be outside waiting for you. And so there's loads of stuff like that on there for women and men.
Yeah, no, of course.
Women and men can use it as well.
Definitely.
But there's things like that on there.
Yeah.
Loads of wee tips and tricks.
So TikTok, I never thought TikTok. Well, then again,
TikTok's really good.
TikTok's got everything, isn't it?
It has. It covers absolutely everything. I've been learning a lot actually about BPD from TikTok recently. Yep. I've worked with people with BPD. I thought I knew quite a bit about it. Yep. Turns out I don't know quite as much as I thought I knew. So things like that, they're so interesting. So TikTok's not just people doing dances and miming badly.
And I know there's a lot of that. And a
really
special
good.
mention to, obviously, if we're talking about TikTok, another special mention to Wee Wido, but Wee Lee. 1111. You've not met Wee Lee. Obviously, she's been in.
No, I've spoke to her.
Have you spoke to her?
So after we did the last podcast, she messaged me. And I spoke to her, and she's lovely. She's
really
going to
come back in.
Oh,
she's coming back in. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I've spoke to her.
I've not put her in it because we have spoken about it. She did say she'd love to come back in. So it's no, I would love to get.
I spoke to her after the last podcast. She gave me a wee message and said, kind of thanks for the mention and stuff, which she didn't need to do.
No, I know.
Really do much,
but she's genuine, lad. She's genuine, lad. She's brilliant.
She's lovely.
Yeah,
really,
and
really
she
nice.
does a lot of stuff for the BPD CPD and all that as well, so she knows a lot about it as well. Let's talk about, and we've got a few people to mention, but we'll go through that. Keith, for example, we'll mention Keith.
On the Hoops.
On the Hoops, from On the Hoops, we're going to mention Keith. In fact, let's just mention Keith right now, actually. Keith from On the Hoops has actually been, you're a legend, mate. I'm going to tell you right now, you're an absolute legend, because he's actually helped me a wee bit with my mental health. And I think I don't mind admitting that sometimes I've got poor mental health and I've struggled recently. And Keith was there, as I think you were there at one point when I was struggling, and I asked you for advice. So Keith is an absolute gentleman. He's an absolute diamond geezer. I don't know if that we could say that, but he's such a beautiful guy. He
just captures your attention. I don't know why. His accent obviously captures you.
Oh,
anyway.
I love the
captures
Irish,
you
of course.
straight away.
Good to love the Irish.
But see, when you see him on TikTok and he's doing his TikTok lives, like normally I just scroll by the lives because some of them are just ridiculous. But his, I always seem to, it stops me. And he's genuinely lovely.
Yeah,
he's a really genuine person.
Yeah, it's good. And there's many genuine people out there. But I know what you mean.
I don't know why you're so surprised. Like, see when you meet somebody and they're genuine, you're like, they're lovely.
You know,
like, because there's so many dickheads nowadays. It's like when you find somebody genuine, it's just like.
And I don't know any dickheads. I don't. I'm looking on. But you're right. There's even Big Paul's laughing in the background. I don't know any. But look, Keith, like I say, Keith's going to come in. So two Wee Lee and Keith are coming in. Like not on the same day, but maybe the same day. I don't know. Wee Lee and Keith might come in the same day, and he's going to help talk about the mental health stuff, his own mental health, and obviously how he's approached it. And I think the word he used was, what would you say? Was it focus? Keep focused, stay focused.
When I had spoke to him, we'd spoke about mental health, and I had kind of said to him, the thing that I found helped me to get through. If I'm dealing with something, the thing that helps me is find a focus.
Yep.
Focus on that, and just head up. What is the right word? Just focus on it. Basically,
focus on it, and stay in the zone, if you like, to what you're trying to go. So if you've got a goal, get to that goal. As in, I don't know. I talk about manifestation quite a lot, and imagine yourself doing it.
It can be anything, though, even just something as a distraction. Like for me personally, it was football.
Yeah. Yep.
So every single weekend, without fail, I was at St Roch's or Celtic Park or wherever we were. You know, I was there, and it kept my mind off everything else that was going on because I was so focused on that.
Focused on the game.
That was, I couldn't no go because that was my escape, my safe place kind of thing. Which might sound silly to some people. It doesn't need to be football. It can be absolutely anything. But that was mine. So that's what I'd kind of try to kind of say to him, like, just find something, find a focus, and just go with that. And it'll distract you. Right.
Next up, let's look at the other services we're going to look at. And again, so first of all, let's go to the Simon community. Special mention to the Simon community. I'm hopefully going to be volunteering soon with the Simon community, and they deal with the homeless people in Glasgow. And not just Glasgow. I think there's a Simon community everywhere. I think there's one in Dublin. I think the first one I seen was in Dublin.
Right.
I know there's many Simon communities down south. But a special mention to the Simon community, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be doing some volunteering in there on a Monday in the centre of Glasgow, and they deal with homeless people. For what I know, is they help homeless people get rehomed, and they also help if they're struggling with maybe drinks or drugs as well. And I think what stuck out to me, here's the thing about the Simon community, the Biffa, who control the bins, right? They've connected with Biffa, and what they were doing was they had a team, they've street teams, right? And they go looking for people who are maybe homeless, and they try and help them out. And I think what they do is the connection they made with Biffa, or the collaboration they had with Biffa, is they were making sure that there was no homeless people sleeping in the bins. So there was guys. I think there was guys going about Glasgow, centre of Glasgow, and they were actually literally in the bins
to check.
There was nobody sleeping, making sure that the homeless were safe, and that's as much as I know about the Simon community. But they've been, I think, since the 50s. Do you know when, Paul? No, I think it's the 50s. When I was doing a bit of research, I'm sure it was the 50s. In fact, it doesn't really matter. But the fact is, they're well established.
Yeah.
They are helping so many people out there in Glasgow who are struggling, and I just thought I'd give them them a mention from Glasgow. Did you say the Invincibles?
Yeah, I'm sure that is their name. I'm sure.
Let me just double check and see if that's the Invincibles. The Invisibles.
Is it the Invisibles?
Aye, I'm saying the Invincibles. It's Invisibles. Sorry, the Invincibles are they're also. I think they're also they help the homeless.
Yes.
Is that what they? Aye.
Yeah. So they hand out sleeping bags, warm jackets.
Yep.
Like they go around Glasgow at night. I'm sure St Roch's had a jacket collection recently for them as well, and I'm positive I've seen kind of collection buckets and stuff for them.
Yep. Yeah, I've got them here.
Yeah.
Aye. So. Yeah, I see that. Well, this was a post from 2014, to believe it or not. I'd imagine there'd be more.
I do see them on Twitter all the time. Like
I do on Twitter all the time.
They do a lot of work with homeless people. I think
it's one of the UK's biggest collection events in aid of the homeless community. Again, they go about the homeless community.
I think they're always looking for donations and things as well.
Okay, yeah.
Just no money or like things like that, like jackets, gloves, sleeping bags, that kind of thing.
Yep. It says here in the found it was here it goes. Glasgow operations now set to be taken over by the Invisibles. Founded in 2014 after a Celtic fan, Dermot Hull, a Scotstoun local, published a blog post asking for help in setting up a sleeping bag collection.
Yeah, they still do that. I have
so
seen
that's
them
where it's
for
from.
Things like that. Yeah.
So excellent. They're another charity that obviously I would love to collaborate with. We would love to get in and let's speak about what they're actually doing and show awareness on what it is, what their mission is. Also, so Chris's House. Do you know much about Chris's House?
No, I've not heard of that one.
So I remember, again I'll mention Mid-Martin Scotland, I remember when, again without giving away personal stories, people would come in and they were really struggling with their mental health, as in they didn't want to be here, and it was all about the suicide prevention. Well, Chris's House were remarkable for me because they helped me get like a professional body, like a psychiatrist or a therapist straight away on the phone, and it was a video chat. So I remember Chris's House, how important they were for the one individual, and it obviously was many more individuals, not just the one, but at that time they helped this guy so much, as did obviously Mid-Martin Scotland and the services like that. And Chris's House were absolutely amazing. They were so quick to respond, and they were also, again, I don't know what it's like now. This was a couple of years ago when I had responded with it, but Chris's House were amazing. They're based in, I think they're based at Motherwell. Chris, is it Motherwell? Paul? Aye, they're based in Motherwell, and again, a remarkable organisation. Again, I think it was an organisation based on a mother who had lost her son through suicide. I think that's what it was. Again, please don't quote me if I've got it wrong. And again, just a remarkable organisation, and obviously need to mention name. Again, you might be watching this. You might be watching this episode. You might be struggling with your own thoughts. You may have anxious thoughts. You may have lots of depression, and you fear or you're scared to reach out. We're mentioning these organisations. What I would say is, just pick up the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely the first step into it.
Pick up the phone, man. It's like it's it's easy for us to say. Just pick up the phone.
The relief you feel once you actually do it.
Yeah.
Is
yeah. Well, Chris, they're amazing. Chris was amazing. Brothers in Arms. Do you know much about these guys?
No.
Right, let's look at Brothers in Arms. I'm sure I spoke to one of the guys from Brothers in Arms. I'm sure at an event in Edinburgh. Right, so anonymous, informative and discreet free digital wellbeing support for men. So I'm just looking at their website just to see what they've got.
So see, when that's saying digital support, does that mean you can use like live chat and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. Let's just say aye. So I'm just going to click it just now. Right. So when you click on the wee button, it says support Brothers in Arms.
Yep.
It gives you the first stat. The first stat is 75% of all suicide is male.
Okay.
It's the single biggest killer of men under the age of 45 in the UK right now. That's 12 males a day, 84 a week.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a minute. That's
crazy. It really is. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. And obviously, not obviously, man, I keep saying obviously as if it's a thing, but 2015 was when I read that stat.
Yeah.
And it was like, I need to be something that does something, that moves something.
Yeah.
And as what the stuff that you're doing yourself.
It makes it even worse though then when you read stupid comments like people are sick hearing about men's mental health. We don't hear about it enough, and that's why those stats are too high.
Yep. Oh, and that's another thing that I need to mention. The Canmore Trust, John Gibson. I need to mention John Gibson. I had the opportunity to meet John Gibson from the Canmore Trust, and in fact I'll tell a story because he won't mind me saying it because he actually spoke about it. I was at an event in Edinburgh and he was the first one to open up the talk about suicide prevention, and he told a story, and his story was, and again he won't mind me telling this because he said this has to be out. He started this talk saying that he didn't want to be there that day. He was in tears in the morning of the talk, right? And the reason for that is because he lost his boy. And the reason he set this charity up was because he lost his boy to suicide. And he did not realise that his boy had any problems.
Yeah.
So we've just mentioned stats there. And I'm hoping that if you've got any thoughts of suicide, that you contact these, go back to the start, rewatch this, go to the comments in this page or this episode. Please reach out, because John Gibson was talking about this. He says, I asked the question, do we talk about suicide enough? And he said, just like you said, no.
Yeah, well, no, definitely not. You can't speak about it enough when you've got stats like that. That answers the question for you, doesn't it? And I think younger people nowadays it's becoming more and more normal to hear that person's had suicidal thoughts, that should never be normal.
No.
It shouldn't be.
No.
I'm not saying the person's not normal for having this, but it shouldn't be, it's alright, like, it shouldn't be a normal thing to hear somebody say.
Yeah, no. Yep.
But sadly it is.
Yep. So we need to keep talking about it. It's like,
oh, definitely.
We need to, and I suppose that's one of these things that either makes you turn over, or it maybe give you hope. And I'm supposing the reason for us talking about this is to give you hope, to make sure that you know that there's people out there. We could mention 40 of these organisations, right? And that's just a wee blip. That's just a wee tiny number of how many organisations that are worldwide, I think, right? But in Scotland, especially Glasgow and Edinburgh, there's 40 people that could just go, 40 organisations that and I think what we'll do is I'll mention them, or I won't mention them, I'll have them in the description of this podcast today. Right, let's talk about, we spoke about the Brothers in Arms. I don't think I need to go about any more, right? Back on side, we'll give them a mention. Back on side, I'm sure that I met two boys, but don't quote me. I'm sure they did the same event to me in Edinburgh. And thank you for just doing what you do. John Gibson, thank you for doing what you're doing. I think you've already said that you'd love to collaborate with me to do something for this podcast and just to get the word out there. So thank you so much to John Gibson, and thank you. And if you're struggling, please contact us. What else? Is there anything else that we can talk about? And if there's not, again, don't worry about it. 5 to go. That's all we'll go for.
Weekend.
Aye. Oh, let's. You know what? Aye. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's
rather put a fun spin on it than all this.
Let's. Aye. So the weekend. The weekend is coming. It's probably. It's the biggest. I think it's the biggest game of the season.
What, St Rochs and Whitlets?
St Rochs, and who are they playing? Whitlets. So, St Rochs. Who's going to be scoring for St Rochs? Who's the top scorer on St Rochs?
I don't actually know who their top scorer is. I would imagine it might be Kieran Daw.
Where are they in the league? Like, are they doing all right?
They actually are. They're doing really well.
Are they?
Now, the team's really kind of gelling together and their manager's really good.
Who's top of the league, by the way? Is it my old team? Drumchapel?
Top place.
I say my
Do you
old
know
team.
something I actually can't remember?
I think it'd be Drumchapel, because Drumchapel are a good team.
That's it.
Drumchapel have got a really good team, but
St Rocks will get up there, no bother.
aye, I'd say so.
No, they're doing well though, but Sundays.
Aye.
I think this is the biggest one in a long time.
Aye.
I think whoever wins this,
Aye.
the league's theirs.
And do you think Adam Ida will start?
Do you know? I think he might actually.
Do you think so?
I think he might.
Guys, that's Adam Ida for St Rocks.
I think he's just signed. No, I think he might start
Aye.
and keep Kyogo's back up.
Aye.
But
Kyogo's a big time player, isn't he? He's like,
he is. He
knows what it means.
comes alive in these games.
Aye.
Would
you start to them?
I said last time I would, but then we went to Easter Road. The two of them didn't do well together. I'm sure it was Easter Road. So I don't know, but I think it's got to be a Syrian for whoever loses.
Aye,
Whatever
it
side
will be,
loses, it's got to be a Syrian.
What is it you saying there? A Syrian?
A Syrian?
It'll be a Syrian.
Aye, a Syrian. Do you not say that?
It'll be a Syrian. It'll be a right Syrian.
Aye, a Syrian.
But a Syrian to say it.
Aye, whoever loses. Aye.
Aye, no, it'll be a big game, big massive game. So let's just end today's podcast episode. Again, thank you so much, Lisa,
Thank you for having
coming in do this podcast today. And if you are out there and you're struggling, and I mean this, man, just pick up the phone. Even if you want to contact me, if you want to phone me, just contact me. You'll be able to get me a message. I'll get your number. If you want to talk, let's talk. I'll talk to you about the services that I know of and also the ones that I don't know of. But I think it's just a case of just try as many as you can until you find that service that fits you. Because the service that you contact might not fit you. But look, I would definitely give it a go. And if you're struggling with anything, anxiety, depression, please try and change that, man. Let's decide on life and let's keep pushing forward. Thank you very much.